Sports fans, the drama this week was wild. Caitlin Clark's injury has the WNBA scrambling. Micah Parsons' camp is calling out Jerry Jones. Eric Dickerson just may have made the Shedeur Sanders situation in Cleveland worse. And Cam Newton is back in the middle of a sports beef with Gillie. Man, this is the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, weekly sports recap, unfiltered, straight talk, and no holding back. Let's get into this thing right now. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy JB coming right back at you. Welcome back to the Smoke Something, Drink Something weekly sports recap, man. And before we go further, I need y'all to do me a favor, man. I need y'all to hit that like button, mash that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications. Man, we got some stuff to get into this week. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Eric Dickerson with Shedeur, Micah and the Cowboys, and Cam Newton with Gillie the Kid. Man, this thing is getting tight, but it is right, and we gonna jump into it right now. I'm gonna start with Sophie Cunningham. I'm gonna give y'all this thing raw and try to get y'all in and out of here as quickly as possible, because hopefully y'all ain't heard these tapes nowhere else. But man, Sophie Cunningham is out. And guys, I'm starting to see a trend that I don't like. Do y'all notice that when these athletes get podcasts, injuries start happening? I want y'all to see what's happening, right? Because preparing for a studio role versus preparing for a sports athlete role is completely different. We saw what happened with Paul George, and now Sophie Cunningham has this MCL injury, and man, it starts right after she does this podcast. And guys, I got to tell y'all right now, y'all have heard me on plenty of my shows say, I think that these professional sports teams got to legislate in these CBAs that you can't be doing these podcasts. And what do I mean by that, guys? These guys, their whole life has been active. When you're doing a podcast, it's a lot of sitting. And when you're going from a lot of sitting to very strenuous activity, guys, it's going to be injuries. But guys, this is why every athlete is doing it. They prefer to be podcasters than injuries. I watched Sophie Cunningham. She didn't even look bothered by it. Why? Got a contract. Now she got this podcast. And I'm going to tell y'all like this. She's having a lot more fun doing the podcast. Do y'all realize I think there's a whole contingency of athletes that once they become professional, they start hating the thing they once loved. She is smiling. She is happy. She is all her personality is coming out on her podcast. And I don't think she want to go back to basketball. I don't think she want to go back to basketball, guys. And I think that what you're seeing right now with Sophie Cunningham is that I don't think the magnitude is sitting into her that without basketball, the podcast doesn't matter, right? Like I tell everybody, YouTube and podcasting is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Why? Because you're only operating in your personal brand. What a lot of these athletes don't realize is that without the team brand they were a part of, these generational brands, they wouldn't have the followers that they're having. What's going to happen with Sophie Cunningham is I'm a little bit worried that that momentum she had, and the reason why the volume hired her was because she was next to Caitlin Clark. Well, now Caitlin Clark is out injured. She's out injured. Where's the appeal for Sophie Cunningham? Attractive girl, but podcasts, you got to have substance. Podcasts, you got to have quote unquote content. And I don't know how appealing her content is going to be now since she's out with injury. Caitlin Clark is out with injury. She can provide commentary in the game, but it was something about her first couple episodes where we were getting insight into the game because she was actually on the floor. I can tell y'all like this, man. The players want to spin their own narratives on these podcasts. They want to become individuals on these podcasts. And that's a direct threat to the owners. And I think the owners are going to have to do something because the podcast, the fan is going to be on the side of the athlete always. And if I'm an owner, I'm taking that away. Now, if I'm a player, I'm legislating it in that you can't take it away. Okay. And I'm telling y'all right now, these podcasts are the biggest threat to professional athletes and to professional sports, because once you get a taste of doing podcasts, you don't want to do anything else. And you definitely don't want to get up at 5 o'clock and do workouts at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, the grind and the travel. Where podcast, you ain't got to worry about security. You ain't got to worry about paparazzi. You ain't got to worry. You're in the comfort of your own studio. And I think, guys, Sophie Cunningham this week proved that this is why every athlete is going to start a podcast, because that injury happens. They got something to fall back on, and they got a platform. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about Sophie Cunningham, the injury, and how it's going to impact her podcast. I think her podcast is going to suffer because they were intertwined. And now that she doesn't have one because she's out injured, she's good to look at, but I don't know if that's going to be enough, right? I don't want her podcast to become like Angel Reese's podcast, if you know what I mean. Get down in the comment section, tag your Sophie Cunningham fan. Let me know what you guys think, man. I'll give you a shout out if you do, okay? Let's get into the next one. I know I got a lot of Caitlin Clark fans that follow me. Caitlin Clark, I saw in the news this week that she had a bone bruise now. So we've gone from a growing injury to bone bruise. Caitlin Clark probably won't play the rest of this season. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if the bone bruise update, if the bone bruise update is a way for Caitlin Clark to be in solidarity with the old guard. Right? I think Caitlin Clark doesn't want to have anything to do with these negotiations so that the current old guard can say that they did it without her. And guys, I got to tell you, I know it sounds crazy and I don't question anybody's injury, but I will tell you this. It's strange that Caitlin Clark in the CBA negotiation, she's not playing. With the injury we know she would probably normally play through. We know she's a tough girl, and she's being quiet when it comes to CBA negotiation. Why is she taking a back seat? And let me tell y'all what frustrates me about Caitlin Clark. What frustrates me about Caitlin Clark is what I remember growing up and being early in my career. The talented always bows down to the untalented. In order to fit in, the most successful one or the most talented one, the most influential one, has to bow down to the ones who don't have those qualities. And unfortunately, guys, I think we're seeing that right now with Caitlin Clark, right? Because why am I seeing it? Why am I seeing it? They're trying to do everything they can. Sophie Cunningham is out, obviously, with an injury now. Caitlin Clark now got a bone bruise. I don't think she's coming back. Angel Reese just came back. But guys, something happening this week. They just announced record viewership for the WNBA. Paige Bueckers hit 44 points, and ESPN tried to act like that was a big deal. Why is the WNBA trying to force Paige Bueckers down our throat? You know why, guys? Because Paige Bueckers lives the lifestyle that the WNBA wants all their women to be. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you. But Caitlin Clark got a decision to make. Because if Caitlin Clark keeps up her conventional lifestyle and does not flow into the WNBA's preferred lifestyle, she'll never be promoted properly. Paige Bueckers dropped 44 points, lost the game. It was a hell of a performance, by the way. Right? But it doesn't matter if you're losing. If Caitlin Clark would have shot 40, if Caitlin Clark would have scored 44 points, ESPN would have been like, she didn't pass the ball, she's selfish. But they're glowing over Paige Bueckers. Why? Because Paige Bueckers has that lifestyle. Paige Bueckers fits into the social justice component that the WNBA is all about. And nobody wants to talk about it, but I hate it for Caitlin Clark because I'll be honest with you guys, I'd rather for her to stay out. I'd rather for her to stay out and be injured. And I remember her for what she had before she makes that choice. Because I hate when I see the most talented and influential one having to quote unquote pay dues and know your place. Those days are over with, guys. The only reason they have record viewership with the WNBA is not because of anybody but Caitlin Clark. And everybody started watching in the beginning of the season, and that's what drove the numbers up. And then what happened next? The toys being thrown on the floor. That's why the ratings started going up still. It became a circus. It became a circus, right? You saw things that weren't about basketball, right? The pay me what you owe and stuff, all that bull. That's what drove it up. And if they want to be a circus, fine. If they want to be caricatures and clowns, that's fine. But don't try to force Paige Bueckers down my throat. I watched her at UConn. Is she a great player? Yeah. But she ain't Caitlin Clark. And when I hate that, you remember, guys, I always say most people aren't given an opportunity. Most people are set up to fail. We can't confuse being set up to fail with opportunities. Paige Bueckers is being given opportunity. The refs are not letting her get beat up. The media is not attacking her. The media is not attacking her fans. Okay? But look at what Caitlin Clark is being set up to fail, even though she's the only reason people watch. Paige Bueckers is being given the red carpet. Caitlin Clark fans aren't falling for that. So let's get Caitlin Clark healthy for next year, man. Let's stop caring about this WNBA CBA negotiation. These girls want to get paid millions of dollars just because they play the same sport as a man. They don't understand business, and unfortunately, they've gotten Caitlin Clark to toe the line. And I hate that Caitlin Clark has done that because she's the only reason they're going to get millions. But she's having to act like she's not. Y'all look at what they got going on with this with the Connecticut Sun team. Guy trying to sell it and they won't let him. This league has never been about money. It's never been about influence. It's been about actual what's my word I'm looking for? I apologize. It's been about indoctrination, social justice activism, and that's why nobody watches it. So I'm glad they got better attendance, but we know what propped it up after Caitlin Clark went out with injury, man. Because I'm telling you, you can't replace a generational figure from like Caitlin Clark with somebody like Paige Bueckers. Just not gonna happen, man. Y'all let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong and tag your Caitlin Clark fans or your Paige Bueckers fans. I want to hear what you guys gotta say. Now this one got me good. I'm going straight from Caitlin Clark to my other favorite topic, Shedeur Sanders. And guys, I gotta tell y'all, I repeat myself again like I repeat every week. People love Shedeur Sanders. They hate Shedeur Sanders, the brand. They hate the change. They hate the legendary. They hate the cars. They hate the swag. All the stuff I like about them. But I know how conservative business people see that. And guess what, guys? They don't like it. So what happens? Eric Dickerson goes on radio station and starts talking about collusion amongst the owners. And this is why Shedeur Sanders is not getting a fair shake, right? A lot of y'all think that these owners are against Shedeur and all this kind of stuff, but I'm going to tell y'all how business works. So what? Shedeur has to make the adjustment, not the owner. Shedeur has to make the adjustment, not the owner. If I'm Shedeur, when I score, I'm not doing that. I'm getting rid of all of that until I can get me a solidified position on this team, because nothing is hurting Shedeur on the field. Everything around Shedeur is hurting him. And a lot of y'all gonna hate that, man, because it's not conforming. If I mess up in the initial process, Shedeur messed up in this interview process. Nobody likes him. Deion messed up by not taking the Cowboys job. These Sanders boys, the Sanders boys and Deion are a powerful brand, but that brand is not more powerful than the NFL, and they showing him that. Deion would have taken the Cowboys job. This is a whole different ball game. Deion turning. Now I understand why Deion turned down the Cowboys job, but the NFL owners don't care about that, right? Dillon Gabriel plays in his game and says he's not an entertainer. He's a competitor. Guess what, guys? It was a shot at Shedeur. Shedeur took the high road and didn't say anything about it. But Dillon Gabriel is right. As long as Shedeur has to be this brand guy, all while being a football player, and all Dillon Gabriel has is to be a football player and have the preference of the owner and the coach, who you think gonna win? See, guys, we got to start realizing as Black people, we so focused on brand, right? We're good at our profession, but the brand and the profession don't make the decision. You have to understand what this ownership and leadership want. And you can still have your profession and your brand, but Dillon Gabriel knows if we're talking football, Shedeur is far and above what Dillon Gabriel will ever be in football. And when Eric Dickerson said what he said, the reason Dillon Gabriel is ahead of Shedeur is because with Dillon Gabriel, it's just football. Ain't nobody got Dillon Gabriel on no commercial. They ain't selling Dillon Gabriel's jersey on the front page of their website. Dillon Gabriel is just another guy. Shedeur Sanders is a guy that drives marketing, right? Now we love that part, but we need to allow Shedeur to fix the process that he screwed up. He screwed up the interview process. We got to let him go through that, because if we keep trying to pump up this brand, we keep putting him down the depth chart. We keep putting him down the depth chart. These boys have larger than life personalities, larger than life brand. Eric Dickerson could have kept that comment, because it doesn't hurt Eric Dickerson. It hurts Shedeur. We want Shedeur starting. We want Shedeur playing, guys. But the problem that we got is everybody keeps talking about these owners, and these owners are like, that's exactly why we didn't want to draft them. Because all this stuff around makes him the show. And we want him to pay his dues. We want to haze him. And guess what, guys? If you ever pledge a fraternity or sorority, You know you got to go through the hazing process. People see you fall out of sight. People see you fall out of sight because you're working on something. You're working on something. Then the probate show. Guys, we got to let Shedeur go through his process without Shedeur the brand. Because if he feels he has to do that for his fans, it's hurting him, not on the football field, it's hurting him in the boardroom where they're making these decisions about who's going to be on the depth chart, guys. Right? I may be on the wrong side of this, but I need Shedeur to just be a football player, because ain't no way Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Dillon Gabriel, and even Deshaun Watson, when he come back, should be in front of Shedeur Sanders. If we can just talk about football, who's the only person that controls that? Shedeur Sanders. I ain't holding up my wrist. I ain't doing any of that. I'm going to focus on football. I got to get this starting job because they're not punishing me for my talent. They're punishing me for this quote unquote alter ego brand I have. I can put that on the shelf for a little bit until I can get back, because Dillon Gabriel is nowhere close to being better than me. Dillon Gabriel don't have a skill set I have, but I can put my brand aside, because that's what they got a problem with. People don't want the sideshow. People don't want the circus, and I get it. And Dillon Gabriel hoping that you stay over there in the circus, because as long as there's a circus, the owner and the coach and the GM has told him he's the guy. Because Shedeur got to play to the fans over here. Dillon Gabriel don't. Joe Flacco don't. Deshaun Watson don't. Kenny Pickett don't. Let's stop putting Shedeur in this position. Let Shedeur just be a football player for the next 6 months, guys. He going to be the starting quarterback. If it ain't for the Browns, it'll be somebody else. Because I'm going to tell y'all like this. We got to get Shedeur established before Arch Manning comes into this league. Because once Arch Manning comes into this league, they shifting everything to him. And this is Shedeur. If Shedeur don't get to play this year, when Arch Manning comes in and that quarterback class coming in, boy, we got a problem. Y'all get down in the comment section, man. Tag my Shedeur Sanders fans. Them Colorado internet aunties, man. Get down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel and what we got to do. Eric Dickerson comments. Because I think all this outside stuff is what's hurting Shedeur. Let's let Shedeur be a football player. And let's not try to get him to play to his brand. Man, y'all know Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, guys. Oh, my God. This agent, Micah Parsons, need to fire the agent. A lot of y'all know I'm a Cowboys fan, man. Micah Parsons need to fire this agent. He is not going to win. And, guys, let me tell y'all something. Micah Parsons wants to be with the Cowboys. If you've ever been out to Dallas and see how these boys get treated, no other city does this for their professional athletes, like the Rangers, like the Mavericks, and like the Cowboys. You can even throw in the Dallas Stars hockey team. And what I'm telling y'all right now, Micah Parsons does not want to be in this position. That man is showing up to practice. That man is going to be on, he was on the sidelines for the final preseason game. You know you're going to get franchise tagged. Okay, Jerry don't mind paying that. But Jerry's not going to bow down to his agent. And guys, Micah Parsons need to fire his agent. And I'm going to leave y'all with this one quote for me when it comes to the Cowboys. If y'all ever go out to a Cowboys game, let Troy Aikman be there. Let Michael Irvin be there. Let one of them greats from the past be there. Jerry Jones gives you access to a brand that any money you may lose with him, you going to monetize it outside of him. That's why you get rid of that agent. Take the deal. Take the deal. Jerry Jones, if you connect with Jerry Jones, you don't see Emmett hanging out at Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Where Emmitt Smith at? Y'all come to the Cowboys game, man. I sit right there in 109 and 1010 when I go. I mean, not 110, 109 and 110 when I go. Sit right there. Who box right behind me? Jerry Jones box. Go look and see who's in there. All the former players that's in there. How they honor them on the field. How you become a part of this Cowboys brand that you can leverage. Micah Parsons needs to fire this agent. And everybody who out here who hate Jerry Jones and all this kind of stuff, you ask me, y'all watch what's happening on Netflix right now. They talking about who? The Cowboys. They ain't talking about no other team. Deion said playing for the Cowboys is different. Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman. Guys, the Cowboys are America's team for a reason. Jerry Jones is a brand master. And Micah Parsons is making a huge mistake by not signing this deal. With the Cowboys, it ain't about now. It's about forever. Every other team is about get what you need to get now. But with the Cowboys, it's about forever. If Micah Parsons wants to stay relevant for the rest of his life, he'll sign this deal. Because the Cowboys can take a guy like Dak Prescott and make him an international name. If Dak Prescott was on any other team, we wouldn't care who he was. Ask Ezekiel Elliott what it's like to not be with the Cowboys, right? Ask Ezekiel Elliott how well that holdout helped him. See, what y'all got to do, y'all can't understand. You've been trained to play football. Your agent ain't been trained to negotiate with a marketing genius like Jerry Jones. This is about lifetime. This is about sitting next to Jerry Jones and that Jones family for the rest of the time. And you gonna be welcomed in like a god if you sign this deal. His agent is screwing this up. If I'm Micah Parsons, sign the deal because you don't want to play on 2 franchise tags. Get this deal done and start letting Jerry Jones leverage you with these marketing deals because they know you're gonna have 4 or 5 year contract with guaranteed money that they can start building around. Guys, we're making a mistake with this one. I hear a lot of people saying Micah Parsons should get traded. Yeah, get traded and be a nobody after you leave. Versus going with the Cowboys and working with Jerry Jones and staying with Jerry Jones so you can become a Michael Irvin, a Emmitt Smith, a Troy Aikman, a Darren Woodson. Just go out there, guys. You'll see it. A lot of people ain't been to Dallas to see how these boys get treated and how much of a brand they are if they stick with the Cowboys. But Micah Parsons making a mistake by letting this agent take the lead. Jerry Jones and told you, so you may as well go ahead and sign it. Take the deal and get the business brands outside of that. Because with that star on the side of your helmet, you're more valuable than any other team can give you. It ain't about money on the field. It's about what you can get off the field. Get down in the comment section. Y'all tag the Micah Parsons fans in your circle to let them see what I'm talking about, man. And if I'm right or wrong, I'd love to hear your comment. Finally, guys, Cam Newton versus Gillie. Guys, I think Cam Newton just put that thing to bed. Cam Newton just put that thing to bed last night, showing the national championship, showing his jersey retired, right? Right? I mean, guys, this thing is crazy. I don't think Gillie want no more of this smoke. Gillie is a fan. Cam Newton actually did it. Now, Gillie got called a mascot by Cam. Gillie calling Cam a clown. But I'm going to tell y'all something like this, man, as I get ready to get out of here. Cam Newton is probably one of the best content creators right now on YouTube. Whether you watching Funky Friday or whether you watching 4th and 1, especially 4th and 1. 4th and 1 need to be replacing partner interruption. I mean, what he's done with that format, he's taken the partner interruption format and made it his own. And Gillie got to understand, he and Wallow are good. But I'm going to say this to y'all. I don't think Gillie really wanted no smoke with Cam like that. I think Gillie is so close with the Sanders family, he don't like Cam's commentary when it comes to Shedeur. And I think Deion takes the high road. Deion doesn't do certain things anymore. But I think Gillie was trying to avenge for Shedeur. Because Cam and Shedeur, we know they don't rock with each other like that. But man, I think he done got into a battle he can't get out of now. And I hope Gillie leaves it. Because Cam just showed Shedeur exactly why he should have listened to him. And let's be honest, guys. If we remove Cam's style and Cam is evaluated based on his content creation and his accolades on the field, man, who touching that guy? And y'all know I'm a smoker. I'm a cigar smoker. One of the reasons I like Cam is that Cam is always rocking his cigar. And Cam can do his content while he's smoking a cigar. I just ain't mastered it yet. I can do it if I got other people on the panel. Cam can smoke his cigar whether he by himself or together. But what I'm trying to tell y'all, remove the caricature. Remove the style. Why would anybody come at Cam Newton? Because if you take that style away, everybody thought, we sometimes forget what Cam was on the field. And guess what, guys? Sometimes that person got to remind you who he was. And I think Gillie is going to end up stepping back on this because we can't forget why we know Cam Newton instead of getting caught up on the current Cam Newton and the style that he had. But I think Gillie needs to tap out because being that guy versus talking about that guy is 2 different things. Man, y'all get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think, guys. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, Micah Parsons, Shedeur and Eric Dickerson, and of course Cam and Gillie, man. Subscribe, like, and comment, man. I'm gonna shout you out, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Share this with a friend. Appreciate everything. Appreciate y'all sticking with me on the recap, man. And until next week, guys, I'm gonna holla.